In the latest, there's breaking news coming in. The Chief of the General Staff, the Lieutenant General and the Commander of the Air Force, they are all meeting. So these are all senior IDF officials who are conducting a meeting to go to review the assessment of the strikes that have taken place, and also they are commanding the IDF strikes in Iran from Air Force Operations Center over the past few hours. The pictures on your screens are of that meeting that is taking place between senior IDF officials in Israel. The IDF says it is on high alert and it is ready to continue operations across all sectors against anyone who threatens the state of Israel. And joining us this morning is Sol Satka, a security analyst who's joining us from Tel Aviv. My colleague Mayank is also with us. Let me go across to Sol. Sol, the President of the United States is not very happy with what has happened. He has asked Prime Minister Netanyahu to hold the fire, and he has said that he calls the shots. Do you think Israel will stop? Because the developments that are now coming in is that the IDF says that they are prepared and they are assessing the situation. Do you think Netanyahu will pay heed to what Donald Trump has said?
It's hard to say, but it's also hard to say. You have to read between the lines to understand what's happening in this situation in the Middle East. It's no use to listen to the news, because the news is really just what people are being told to say, leaks that are being given out. Some of that might be true, but equally it might be disinformation. It might be information that's seeded into the public to confuse specifically the leaders of Iran. So we don't know. Over the past week, there have been all sorts of rumors about Israel and the United States arguing about various things. None of it seemed particularly credible. It all seemed performative. Trump was criticizing Netanyahu. People in Israel were criticizing Trump. It all seemed like a bit of a game. And my guess was that it was at the time as well last week, and I said as much, that likely a re-escalation was probably going to happen in the next week or so, because before all the previous escalations, we saw the same kind of games, that it seemed the Israelis and the Americans very much would like to be able to attack Iran by surprise. They don't want it that the Iranians know that they're coming. And so the best way to surprise them, of course, is to give them the impression that actually everything's okay and there's not going to be an attack in the immediate future. That's probably what's been happening here. That's probably the reason for all these discussions. It's most likely all a bluff. Iran probably realized that, which is why they used the Israeli attack, one of many, on Beirut yesterday as a pretext. They wanted to resume the fighting on their own terms and in their own time, and they decided that, unlike Trump, who likes to start things on the weekends when the oil markets are closed, they wanted to start it just in time for the beginning. So all this talks all of a deal,
of the fact that, both sides are inching closer towards progress and a deal is very much in place. All this you are saying was nothing but maybe an alibi, and the fact that these strikes that have happened and Iran and US both want to ensure, I beg your pardon, Israel and America both want to ensure that Iran does not get any kind of leeway. Is that my understanding of what you're trying to convey?
Not quite. My assumption has always been that it's always going to be very difficult to have a deal with the IRGC, because there are elements within the IRGC, even though there might be some moderates, there are elements that really would like to go down with the ship. They believe that they need to bring about the end of days. So they were never going to compromise. Some of them anyway. So the question is, how do you make a deal with those people? And they've been playing this make a deal game for 25 years and dragging things out. It was always seeming unlikely that this would happen until they were further degraded. They hadn't been degraded enough in the previous 2 rounds of fire. And in the previous 2 rounds of fire, before each time, when you saw the Israelis and the Americans attack together a year ago and then again 4 months ago, each time you saw the same pattern. Whereas all the information that was coming out of the public was directly intended to mislead the IRGC, to make them think to let their guard down. And at the beginning of each of those strikes, the IRGC lost dozens to hundreds of their top leaders, including last time in February 28th, when they lost their supreme leader and a host of other senior critical people in their regime, all gone, dead in their beds by surprise. And that's probably what they were going for again. Iran probably figured out that's what's about to happen, and they used the attack on Beirut yesterday as an excuse to restart it on their own terms.
All right. So Israel is blaming Iran. I want you to stay with us, Sol. Consulting editor Srinjoy Chaudhary is also with us. My colleague Mayank also joins us as we track all the developments. But let's break down what we know so far. So from a fragile truce that was hanging by a thread to what seems to have become a tinderbox. This is the biggest test of the ceasefire yet. Why? Because it is the first Iranian missile strike on Israel since the April 8th truce. And also, it is the direct Iran-Israel military exchange that has now resumed after the truce that was put in place. Beirut-Lebanon front once again is dragging Tehran back into the fore, and Israel and Iran exchange fresh military blows. The regional airspace closures also are beginning to spread, and Donald Trump has been forced into emergency diplomacy. He's talking about restraint right now and how one miscalculation in this entire situation could ignite a larger war. With that, we have some more breaking news coming in.